The climax of the Mega Voltage arc in Pokémon Horizons just began with our heroes in a huge all-out war against the 6 heroes. Now something like that should be the hypest thing ever, but the execution has left a ton of disappointment and debate in the community, and for once that includes me too. So be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and now let's dive into it. The episode began with our heroes arriving at the Exceed building and realizing that they've fallen into the Explorer's trap, and then the 6 heroes minus Rayquaza, so I guess I'll just call them the 5 heroes for now, they become infected by the brand new Super Strong Spheres, which are basically like regular Strong Spheres, but they're way more powerful and even make the Laquium crystals grow all over the Pokemon's body. And yeah, this seems to be Spinel's plan to wipe out our heroes for good once and for all. So our heroes realise they have no choice but to fight, and the fight kicks off with them using the 5 Pokemon they've already got out, but Lapras's mist blocking their vision results in our heroes being hit pretty hard over and over, so then Roy sends out the absolute beast, the king, the legend, Kilowattrel, and bro, I'm just saying I want to see Kilowattrel sweeping, okay? He deserves to 1v5 here. I have trust in the bird. So Crocalor flies on Kilowattrel and does big damage to Moltres. Meanwhile, somehow, I don't know how, Meowscarada manages to just casually block the Kleavor's attacks with her claws? This felt a little bit weird to me. I'm not sure if it was just janky animation, but it makes no sense that such a powerful beast like Kleavor with his huge stone axes, that those could be countered by Meowscarada just getting her nails out. But whatever. Lapras then attacks Hattrem, but Terapagos saves her quickly with Protect, and that pays off because it allows Hattrem to use her psychic abilities to locate Kleavor in the mist, allowing Meowscarada to keep dodging it when she can't see it. I really loved seeing Hattrem being used in a supportive role like that, you know? It's where she shines the best, and it shows that Liko can successfully handle Pokemon of all battle styles. You love to see it, dude. Meanwhile, our Bolivar's attacks are being dodged by our boys in the sky, and Uruto absolutely flops against Gouging Fire's overwhelming might. I don't think he expected it to be that powerful, but luckily Cap dives in and saves him and begins beating Entei up, until of course things turn around and Cap gets knocked down too. So yeah, things really aren't looking good for our heroes, man, and I'm happy about it. After all, these are the 5 heroes they're up against. They shouldn't just be pushovers, especially all 5 of them attacking at once. This should be the hardest battle of our heroes' lives. Meanwhile, during the battle, Dot elsewhere encounters Hamber, and he tells her that Amitheo's dad has been taken captive, so they set off to free him. I must admit, it feels really weird seeing interactions between Dot and Hamber. They haven't really had any crossover in the past, but it is nice to see something new, you know? The two of them reach the building where Crave is, but Chalce appears and stops them. Hamber then wimps out from battling her because he knows it'll get him exiled from the Explorers, but Dot of course is ready to throw hands. Chalce pulls out a Strong Sphere, and that kind of surprised me, you know? For some reason I always assumed that Chalce would be, like, smart enough to know the Strong Spheres aren't actually that good, but I guess she's relying on them too. Interesting for someone so smart to be so stupid. Anyway, the Laquium makes Medicham so quick and agile that it dodges every single attack from Tinkaton, over and over and over and over. Even when Tinkaton begins batting boulders at Medicham and logs at Medicham, it still dodges. And then it counters and hits her back hard, and then hits her again, and then hits her again. Dot really is being destroyed, man. That's until Dot has the idea for Tinkaton to leap up in the air and charge up all of her power into a hammer, and that turns into a new move, Gigaton Hammer. And Medicham conveniently forgets how to dodge in that moment, leading to it being smushed under the hammer, unconscious. It's really dope that Tinkaton learned Gigaton Hammer, and I really loved Dot's idea to get Tinkaton up in the sky to buy it time to charge it up. But I do have to admit, there's something really weird about a Pokemon whose entire thing was dodging and being agile for the entire battle, just for that Pokemon to be defeated by the slowest move ever because it randomly forgot that it can dodge. I don't know, that felt a bit off to me. A tiny bit plot armory. But other than that, I really enjoyed the battle. It was fun seeing Dot and Chalce going at it again, having a rematch, finally. So Dot and Hamber free Amitheo's dad, and then he revealed that he turned against Spinel because he doesn't agree with the Super Strong Spheres. Go on, Amitheo's dad. Good to have you on the right side of history, finally. Meanwhile, our heroes are still fighting the 5 heroes, but they're really struggling. Things aren't looking so good, you know? But then Liko remembers how Terapagos can erase the Laquium, so maybe Terapagos could do it now and free the 5 heroes. Their new plan is to buy Terapagos the time to do that, so they send out their final Pokemon, Charcadet, Lucario and Dragonite, and then Liko terastallizes Meowscarada, Roy terastallizes Crocalor, Uruto Mega Evolves Dragonite, and I'm not gonna lie, personally, I think this would have been a really great opportunity to finally terastallize Kilowattrel, but alas, it's Crocalor again. Maybe someday you'll get the time to shine, Big Bird. So Crocodile hits our Bolivar really hard, and then Kilowattrel's time to shine comes way sooner than I expected, because he charges up a huge Electro Ball and knocks down Galarian Moltres. Like, I'm talking Galarian Moltres is on the floor, dude. Finally, some respect on Kilowattrel's name. Finally, he gets another big W. I was honestly getting really frustrated with Kilowattrel's treatment in this episode so far, because it genuinely felt like he was just being a glorified transport for Crocodile the whole time. He didn't really do anything else whatsoever, so I'm glad they at least allowed him to be the one to knock down Moltres to make up for it. That's my favourite bird boy. Meowscarada and Lucario then team up to do big damage to Kleavor, and then Dragonite and Pikachu team up to do big damage to Gouging Fire, and then Hatterene and Charcadet team up to do damage to Lapras. So then, with all 5 of the heroes weakened, Terapagos activates its power, and that absorbs all of the Laquium from the 5 heroes, freeing them from its influence. Our heroes did it, dude, they actually did it. So of course they're happy and they're celebrating, but then, rather than having any urgency whatsoever, they for some reason just kinda stand around doing nothing for like a whole minute, and that allows the explorers the time to reveal another power of the Super Strong Spheres. Unlike regular Strong Spheres, Super Strong Spheres can be used multiple times, so the explorers quickly take over the 5 heroes again. They're enraged by Laquium again. And this time they immediately knock out Terapagos, because he was already weakened from absorbing the Laquium. I must admit, I absolutely loved Spinel's plan here, dude. First, he used the Super Strong Spheres to lure Terapagos into purifying the Laquium, which in turn would leave Terapagos exhausted, and then with Terapagos exhausted, he used the Super Strong Spheres again, so that the 5 heroes could defeat Terapagos immediately, practically eliminating the only threat against the Super Strong Spheres, and thus allowing him to crush the Rising Voltaclers once and for all. Baiting Terapagos like that to stop it from being the main threat was genius, and as always, Spinel is so smart for that, you know? The way that he predicted exactly what our heroes would do and he planned around it to stop them, that was so great, dude. So very Spinel of him, you know? So now our heroes are right back to square one, facing the Laquium enraged 5 heroes, but this time without Terapagos to save them. Okay, so overall, I find myself really conflicted on this episode. First of all, I want to say that everything involving Spinel I absolutely loved. I think it was genuinely genius that Spinel intentionally baited Terapagos to purifying the Laquium, so that he could then in turn defeat the exhausted Terapagos and remove the threat. That was so great, man. And I know the 6 heroes were intended by Spinel to lose the battle for that purpose, but still, regardless of that, I can't help but feel a bit underwhelmed by the battle against the 6 heroes. Although it was nice seeing the way the different Pokemon teamed up, like Meowscarada and Hatterene, Pikachu and Dragonite, I still think the battle itself was pretty weak overall, and that's mainly because the 6 heroes in this episode felt nowhere near as overwhelmingly powerful as they did in the past. Even if they were intended to lose by Spinel, and even if they weren't at full Super Strong Sphere power, I still don't think they should have been beaten that easily, man. In their previous battles, even without Laquium, the 6 heroes were such forces of nature. It required all of our heroes' Pokemon teaming up with some of the most incredible strategies we've ever seen, just to stand a chance against one of the 6 heroes. So you would have thought with all 5 of them teaming up against Liko, Roy and Uruto all at once, that our heroes would have to put up the greatest fight of their entire life for even a tiny chance of not being absolutely destroyed. But the episode just didn't feel that way whatsoever. It felt more like the 6 heroes were just written to be weaker, to allow our heroes to even stand a chance. And dude, I have never been a fan of any series setting up such powerful characters just to nerf them later on because the writers realised they're too powerful to handle. Like, why even make them that powerful in the first place if you're just going to minimise it in the future? Like I said, in this episode it felt like the 6 heroes had way less of the power and skill that they used to have, their attacks felt weaker and easier to dodge, each of them only took like 1 or 2 hits to be knocked down weak enough for Terapagos, our heroes didn't have any crazy strategies to defeat them like in the past, and in general it felt like a bunch of little individual battles without much crossover, rather than the huge all-out war that they were building up between the 6 heroes and our heroes. I don't think it helped either that the battle choreography and the animation were really underwhelming too. Other than a couple sequences, a lot of the battling here felt just not very pretty to look at, you know? There was no unique or interesting choreography like in the previous Horizons battles, most of the animation felt really stiff and cardboardy too, and both of those things combined made the 6 heroes feel way slower and less impressive and less hype in the battle, compared to how they felt in their previous battles. And I know the intention of the writers was probably that Liko and Roy are just way stronger now than they were earlier in the series, so that explains why they could much more easily defeat the 6 heroes in this episode. And I do think that's a really great idea, a great concept, because we know our heroes are way stronger than they used to be. But unfortunately, the execution just didn't feel that way whatsoever. I think there was a major disconnect between the intentions of the writers and the way the battle action itself was portrayed, the way it was executed. And once again, I think that's down to a mix of the choreography and the animation being mediocre, our heroes are not really showing any amazing strategies like they did in their previous battles, the 6 heroes seeming less impressive than before, and also the pacing being rushed because it had to include Dot and Agate's battle in the middle. So all of that combined made it feel way less like our heroes were meant to be stronger, and way more like the 6 heroes just felt weaker instead. And that was kind of disappointing, dude. I do like the theory that maybe the 6 heroes just are weaker now, because they've been trapped in cages for an entire year and they haven't been able to move or battle for all of that time. That seems really realistic, and if it ends up being canon, if it's brought up in the next episode, then that would definitely make me like the battle a lot more personally. I'll still wish the choreography and animation were better, but it would make me okay with the writing. I don't know, it's just when I compare the idea of how insane an all-out war versus the 6 heroes could have been, compared to how it actually ended up being in this episode, it just leaves me feeling underwhelmed, you know? And although Spinel's plan was absolutely peak, I don't think him intending for the 6 heroes to lose justifies how easy it was for our heroes to do that. It's obviously fine if you disagree, I'd love to hear your opinions below, because it really feels like this episode has split the fanbase in half. Half seem to love it, half seem to hate it. For me, I loved all of the Spinel stuff and I was okay with Dot vs Agate, but I just didn't really like the versus 6 heroes battle. So be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed my review, and consider joining our Discord server or becoming a channel member if you want to make my day, just like these absolute legends: Hope, Not Minnie, Melissa, Jascadia, Blazing Shots, Shiny Charm, Toten, Fizz, Lukestrom, Shareborn. So on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again!